Have you ever really stopped to think about why we buy bottled water? I mean, it's everywhere. It feels simple, convenient, maybe even healthier. But what we're going to unpack today is this really strange paradox. Why are we spending so much money on something we can get for like pennies right from our own kitchen sink?
Okay, let's just start with the numbers. $1.07. That's what you're paying on average for a single gallon of bottled water. Just kind of lock that number in your head for a second. Now, look at this. $0.0004. That's not even a penny. That's the average cost for a gallon of perfectly good tap water. The difference between these two numbers is, well, it's just mind-blowing.
Which leads us to the big question, right? If tap water is so ridiculously cheap and bottled water is so expensive, why in the world are we buying billions of gallons of it every year? Well, the answer is way more complicated than you might think.
So to really get to the bottom of this, we have to ask a super basic question. Where is all this bottled water actually coming from? And I'm willing to bet the answer is going to surprise you.
So here's the bombshell. Nearly two-thirds, a full 64% of the bottled water sold in the U.S. doesn't come from a magical mountain spring. Nope, it's just plain old city tap water that's been filtered and put into a plastic bottle. And we're not talking about some obscure little brands here. We're talking about the heavy hitters. Coca-Cola's Dasani and Pepsi's Aquafina. Both of them start with public tap water. They are literally selling us back the exact same resource our cities are already providing.
So you'd think, okay, well at least the bottled stuff must be safer, right? Not so fast. Your tap water is regulated by the EPA. That means strict, constant testing, and they have to publish public reports on the water quality. Bottled water, that falls under the FDA, and believe it or not, the standards are looser, and they don't have to show you their test results. And if you want to know what the strategy is, just listen to this. This is a real quote from a Pepsi executive. It just pulls the curtain back on the whole marketing game, make people think tap water is somehow lesser. It's a deliberate play to make you second-guess your faucet and reach for their bottle instead.
But, that marketing only gets traction because there are some very real, very serious problems with our public water systems. And those problems are the reason our trust has been slowly washing away.
If you ask the water professionals themselves, the number one thing keeping them up at night is aging infrastructure. We're talking about pipes and treatment plants that are ancient and desperately need to be replaced. And the number two problem? Figuring out how to pay for it all.
And the price tag is absolutely enormous. The EPA figures it's going to cost almost $500 billion over the next 20 years just to keep our drinking water infrastructure from falling apart. That is a massive, massive bill for our communities.
Now this is where the trust really starts to shatter. In just 1 year, you've got nearly 80,000 reported safety violations. And for almost 9 out of 10 of them, nothing happens. No formal action. That sends a pretty clear message that the system isn't being held accountable.
And here's the result of that broken trust. 1 in every 4 Americans says they never, ever drink water from their tap. That's a huge chunk of the country that has basically given up on their public water supply. So, how do we possibly fix this? Well, the problems are big, for sure. But the good news is there are clear, concrete steps we can take to rebuild not just our pipes, but our faith in them too. It really comes down to a whole new approach. Utilities could install real-time sensors so we could all see the water quality on our phones at any time. They could use data to fix pipes before they burst. They could actually talk to us, engage with the public. And they could even offer services like in-home filtration systems to give us that purified water we want, directly. And to make sure this all actually happens, there's a proven system for it. It's a federal framework that basically forces utilities to create a public 5-year plan with clear goals, and then report back to us on how they're doing. It's all about transparency, and it's been shown to save millions just by making management better. At the end of the day, this isn't just a story about pipes or regulations. It's about the massive environmental domino effect of our daily choices and how regaining trust in our tap water could literally change the world.
Every single plastic bottle we buy feeds a global crisis. Microplastics are now showing up everywhere, from the deepest oceans to our own bodies. Animals are eating them, and they're getting into our food web. We're only just beginning to understand the health consequences of all this.
This quote from Annie Leonard really just says it all, doesn't it? Those billions of bottles we toss, they don't just disappear. There is no away. They have to go somewhere, and they're leaving behind a legacy of pollution that's going to last for centuries.
And that leaves us with one last really important question. The choice between a bottle and the tap, it's not just about money or convenience. It's about trust. So what if we actually invested in our public systems? And what if they, in turn, truly earned back our confidence? Could the humble faucet finally win the water war? The choice is ours.